Wherever you are and whenever you are, happy Sunday, everyone.
Happy Sunday, everybody.
Hello, colleagues. Welcome to the office and to another episode of Dungeon Manager. Welcome to everyone who's in the Twitch chat. Lovely to see you. Those of you who are new, those of you who are returning, those of you who are watching on YouTube, those of you who are listening via podcast, welcome. It's so good to have you here. Before we begin, as always, we have a couple of thanks. Of course, we have our wonderful assistant dungeon managers on Patreon. The wonderful Graham Muir and the incredible Rory O'Sullivan and the brilliant Hannah Congrave. Thank you all so much for your continued support. It honestly means the world. If you want to support us further and if you'd like to check out our Patreon, you can do so. It's linked below and in the chat. There's lots of lovely stuff on there on a fairly regular basis, so check it out. And you can have some stuff that you can use in your games as well, such as monsters, homebrew spells, homebrew magic items, maps as well. Stuff that hopefully you get a kick out of. We are also, as ever, affiliated with Zavi. Zavi have produced an incredible line of D&D merchandise, including clothing and mugs and tote bags, and you can check them all out at the link below and in the chat. But
they also have Scooby-Doo merch.
They also have Scooby-Doo merch. And you can use either one of our codes on that website, Dungeon10 for 10% off site-wide and Dungeon20 for 20% off all D&D related clothing. And if you'd like to follow us on social media, you can do so on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook. You can also check us out on YouTube, where we have all of our old content and all of our old one-shots and shorter campaigns. We're also having some new content coming up very soon that is not D&D related that we're very excited to share. But you can also check us out on Spotify, iTunes, and Podbean if you'd like to listen to us on podcast form. But you likely know that already if you are listening to this. So without further ado, join us as we step out of the office, away from work, and once more into the world of Dungeon Manager. Previously on Dungeon Manager, enjoying the pleasures of the city with Dalafar scoping out the local businesses and the rest of your group partaking in the local bathhouses, you found yourselves refreshed as you prepared for your first night in Neverwinter. Going about the last of your business before evening descended, Zini, you bought some books on dragons, Scarlet, you purchased a local broadsheet, and Dalafar, you bought some potions. You all returned to the Fallen Tower, reading about the city's news. And in amongst stories of a recent heist on board an airship and rising guild taxes, there was one story that caught your attention, that of a missing dog, Felix. Determined to solve this injustice, you set out to solve it, though not before Scarlet. You felt a strange weight, coming from the silver ring you keep on a chain around your neck.
Well, it was fine. It wasn't anything.
Eating heartily and heading out, you met with the dog's owner, Feifel Green, finding out that he had only come into his life a few months ago, already with a collar around his neck, and disappeared within the last 10 days. And Zini, you quickly wild-shaped into another dog in an attempt to track Felix's movements. But as you were chasing him down, running through the empty alleyways of Neverwinter, you were stopped in your tracks by a silver dagger thrown through the air towards you, and 5 masked figures appeared before you, demanding blood and vengeance. Asking that they show themselves, they did so, revealing that they had been after you since your very first excursion into Waterdeep all that time ago. when you beat them in the underground fighting ring of the dragon's arsehole, when you roundly beat them a second time in the gibbering knoll, when you took their drinks token. They want revenge, and they want their token. And as the 5 of you stand in a line on one side of the street, and they stand at the other end, mirroring you, hands by their side, you take them in. They're all uniform, wearing matching black leather armor with a silver 5-pointed star on their right arm. Each of them are very different heights, with Furkoff towering quite a bit with his more orcish proportions, and Fats stood between Darkstar and Boris, looking rather smaller with his gnomish stature. But all of them around their waists have silvered knives, and they look at you as Darkstar holds out his hand. Well, come on! Give it over!
So let me get this straight. You tracked us all this way after you were beaten fair and square for a drinks token that is rightfully ours.
You didn't beat us. You nearly cut my fucking leg off.
Yeah, that's what beating you means.
Look, I am thinking that this can go one of 2 ways. Either you give us token and we make your death quick, or we take it from your corpse. And you see Darkstar give Boris a bit of a look like...
What has happened since we last saw you that makes you think that you'd win this time?
I'm glad you asked. We have been training. That's pretty much the long and short of it.
Charlotte puts her hand up.
Yes, the one in the red hat.
Yes, where did you get your uniforms from?
Oh, they're good, aren't they? We found them in
yeah,
the...
We're very impressed.
And the stallion just looks at Darkstar and is like, what the fuck are you doing? Yes. None of your business. You know, you've all really fucked us off. Pardon my language. Just give us the token.
Okay, look, we're feeling very generous right now.
Are we?
But, I mean, I haven't got time for this. Have you?
It's my token.
What? Do you want to talk it over with them?
I'm just curious, why they thought it was worth traveling all the way here, spending probably more money than they would have saved with the free drinks token.
I mean,
Just to get the free drinks token.
look at them. I'm not about to ask that. They got matching outfits and everything.
Yeah, that cost a lot, I bet.
It did set us back a little bit, actually.
You could have just gone about your lives and, find other places to fight and get more drinks tokens.
But we want vengeance.
Oh, God. No.
Yeah, we want vengeance. Vengeance? No, vengeance.
Vengeance.
If you go now, we'll just go about our business, but if you take this any further, well, as my friend holds the token, what she says will go.
Of course, it's not just about the token. And he takes out a silvered knife and, placing it in front of him, just licks the blade before... it's also about the money on your heads as well. That Askareth has put... We want them... We want the money.
How much money?
There's a lot.
How much?
I mean, 3,000 on each of your heads, if you must know.
3,000 gold?
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, I'll turn ourselves in, but then that'll mean that we'll have to turn ourselves in. 3,000 gold is a lot of money on each of our heads.
It means you would have to...
in.
Well, it means you would have to hand yourselves in dead, so...
Is it a dead or alive kind of thing, or...? More money for a life.
Slightly more money for, quite a bit more money for a life. But we're not interested in that. We're interested in vengeance. Vengeance!
But also the money.
Also the money, yes.
I think at this point, Delafar goes from being, jolly and slightly affable to just a very stone cold face and takes one step forward. Did Askareth tell you why he's put a bounty on our heads?
No.
So let me get this straight. You've wandered into this situation without realizing how much trouble you're getting yourselves into.
A powerful crime lord gives us an excuse to bring in our nemesis, and we leap at the opportunity.
Okay. One last question before you do whatever it is you want to do.
Okay, sure.
What happened to the other crime lords? And then I just hold up one of the salamander rings as I'm wearing one.
I don't know what that is. What is that?
This was on the other crime lords. One of many rings.
Make an intimidation check.
Ooh, that is good. Let me just have a quick look. 15.
You see Darkstar just look at you, and then the ring, and then the others, and then the dog, and then you, and then back at the dog again, slightly confused, and then back at you, Dalafar. Well, that's as may be, but like I say, we have, and you see him falter a bit, and the stallion just walks forward and places a hand on his shoulder. I want the earth one.
I'll look at the stallion, and then I'll look over at Oriana. Oriana, what were the terms of our last meeting with the stallion? How did we leave things?
I cannot recall. What were the terms?
I don't know.
It was me and Ori, I think, in the room.
Yeah.
At
I'm
the
just
time.
trying to remember if we said to him, like, don't make, trouble again or anything.
Okay, so I'll just look.
If we did, then I don't have any regrets about fighting.
I think you just meant so little to you that you didn't trouble yourselves with even doing that.
So I'll look at the stallion and just look him dead in the eye and say, I seem to remember we had a chat the last time we talked.
Serve a different master now.
Really? That's a shame.
Yeah, well, the man that Askareth, I mean, we're freelancers technically.
We let you go, we let you keep your life. That much you should know. If anything, coming across us again is to your detriment, I would say.
I don't know what these fancy words mean, but I will have your beard, little man.
I just turn sharply to the orc and look him dead in the eye and go, it means take one step forward and I will have your head.
Just one step.
Try me.
Let's all hold actions for when he takes a step forwards.
You can if you would like to.
Yeah, I would like to.
Okay, what are you doing?
Well, I don't know. Maybe I'll wait. It's time for Dalafar to do it. No, I'll leave it.
What's the distance between our two groups?
Let me bring up a map so you can see.
Hooray!
Can someone tell me who this person is?
Which one?
The one they're talking about. Askareth.
So Askareth was present when you first went to Waterdeep. When you infiltrated the Salamander Shuffle, he was one of the crime bosses there. He was a large, snake-like individual in charge of a gang called the Forked Tongue. And you know that in the absence of Gatis Filcham running the underground coastal route in Waterdeep, that Talabrina Kaltmesser has handed over the running of Waterdeep in terms of the underground coastal route to Askareth and the Forked Tongue. But you beheaded Askareth and burnt the body. So the fact that he is still alive and kicking is not great. And you also, from Fenric Dorath, leader of the Seawolves, you know that it is incredibly likely that Aurora Candlewick previously attempted to kill him as well before fleeing to Baldur's Gate.
Okay. It's a big boy we're talking about here.
So are we still in a standoff?
Very Western type, albeit with more snow on the ground. The two groups are just standing and looking at one another. And then Fats stands there, and you see that he's impatiently twitching his foot as he looks between you all. Look, are we gonna fight or not?
Well, after this, I'm going to have a little word with Askareth, because I seem to remember we took his head.
You what?
He burnt to death after we killed him.
Make a intimidation or persuasion, entirely up to you.
Both are rubbish stats, so...
Can I help somehow? Can I help by looking like, crossing my hands and being like, yeah?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
At what? Am I at advantage?
At advantage, yeah.
Okay. 19.
Fats just looks at you and... Oh. You did you? And he just reaches and starts tugging at Darkstar's cloak. And you can see that quite a few of them are now starting to look between one another. And,
Are you sure that the money is worth this? If Askareth was killed by these guys, I mean, no offense, but you're not a big snake.
well, and you see that Boris stood to one side, has reached behind and has brought out a crossbow, and he looks thoroughly unamused at all of this. And you can see Furkov to one side looking impatient and...
One step. And you choose your fate.
Consider it chosen! And with that, he starts running forward. Can everyone roll for initiative, please? And let's have some battle music. Okay, so...
Not yet.
+1 to initiative, so I get...
Check with me. 1 second.
So I get...
Oh, I should have like bulked up the intimidation thing, and I didn't. Oh well.
Okay, so 25 to 20.
No.
Okay.
No.
20 to 15.
Me, 17.
17.
Who has the higher dex? I think it's Terra.
I think it's definitely
I have a
Terra.
+2.
+2.
Who wants to go first?
Shall I go?
As long as I go before whoever I'm hitting, that's fine.
In that case,
But if you go first, then we can flank. So you go first. I don't mind.
okay. If I go first, because then I can jump into the fray and then preempt the flank because I was gonna flank anyway. I was like, whoever it is.
Okay, so 15 to 10. Yes.
Oh, sorry. I got
problem.
18 because I just had to go get a dice.
Oh, 18. Okay, so you're top of the round then.
Oh no.
And then Zini.
14.
14, lovely. Okay, so then it's okay, and then 10 to 5. Okay. Sorry, folks. Let me just
It's all right.
get everyone down. Okay, and then 5 to 1. 4. Okay, lovely. Okay, so
Plenty of time to think.
the order goes Oriana, then Dalafar, then Terra, then Furkoff and the Stallion, then Zini, then Boris and Fats, then Scarlet, and finally, true to form, Darkstar rolled a natural 1.
Oh no.
So, top of the round, Oriana, what would you like to do?
I will attack. Who will I attack? I'll attack Fats.
Okay, so Fats is just over there.
First of all, I will I'll use my bonus action to cast Vow of Enmity just so that I get advantage on Fats.
Cool.
And then I'll just attack.
Okay, so you run over. You should be able to control yourself.
Yes. Which
so
one is Fats? That one.
He's that one. Lovely. Okay.
Okay, it rolled a 18.
18. Yeah, that hits. Roll for damage.
Okay, that is 10.
10.
My first attack.
Okay.
Stop it, Tonks. Just trying to grab my dice. And then for my second attack, that is a 21.
That hits. Roll for damage.
So 11.
11. Okay. Is there anything else you want to do on your turn at all?
No.
No. So rushing forward across the cobblestones and leaping as snow kicks up beneath your feet, you rush forward, and as Fat starts to bring out his blade, looking a little nervous at everyone around him, he suddenly sees this tiefling with blood in her eyes just running towards him with a giant mace, and you just hear a "oh fuck" as there's a and you just see him go flying down as he just, oh my god, and then the other one hits him and he just sort of staggers back a little bit, looking very, very bruised. Is there anything else you'd like to do, or is that the end of your turn?
That is the end of my turn.
Lovely. In that case, Dalafar, your turn as you see Oriana rush past you, and the line in front of you is looking decidedly more nervous, even as Furkoff begins to start running towards you. What would you like to do?
I am going to go straight at Furkoff. So he is to there. I think I can make it. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I can make that. So I'll meet him head on, and I am going to. Do I want to do that? It's near the end of the day, so I am going to action surge.
Okay.
And that means I get. Sorry, I'm going to put this right down here. Okay. Right. So, first thing, I am going to attack. And what I'm going to do is... I'm going to attack him with my axe, but I think what I'm going to throw in one of my superiority dice to do one of my other actions. So let's see which one's probably the best thing to do. What weapon is Furkov holding?
So Furkov is holding what looks to be a giant meat cleaver.
Okay. I'm going to use disarming attack.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to, first of all, where's my D8? So I'm going to make an attack.
Okay.
Which is 24.
Yeah, that hits.
This is just nuts. So it says, just for clarity for everyone, Manu, the disarming attack is when I hit a creature with a weapon attack, I can expend one spirit to die to attempt to disarm the target, forcing to drop one item of your choice that it's holding.
Okay.
Okay.
So what do I need to beat on my roll?
DC 17.
Fails.
Ironically. I've got 5 of those. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've spent 1. And I roll, I think these are D8s, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. So I added to my actual damage roll, so that's an 8. And I don't need to roll that. So 8 damage plus 7, so that's 15 damage, and he drops the meat cleaver.
Okay. Let me just do maths. Okay, so is there anything else you want to do on your turn?
I have 3 other attacks.
You have 3 other attacks.
I will then use a precision attack. Mm-hmm. I'll use a precision maneuver. Which leg did I chop off the last time?
It was his right one, I believe.
I will go for the right one again.
Okay.
And I attack with a 26.
That hits. Roll for damage.
Let me just get the stats for my precision. Mm-hmm. So I am down to 3 of those. It says, when I make a weapon attack roll against a creature, I expend 1 spirit to die to add it to the roll.
Okay, sure thing.
Which is, it goes up to 29, so it hit. it does hit him. And damage is, I'm rolling well. It's an 8. 8,
okay. So, rushing...
I go for the knee on his right leg.
So rushing forward and bringing your axe round, you slice into his very meaty, thick wrist, and you see him just... as the meat cleaver flies back and clatters against the flagstones as you bring your axe round in a whirlwind and just slam it into his right knee, and he just falls down onto the ground. And he's still much taller than you, but he just looks at you with a oh no kind of look in his eyes. So it's your turn still. 2 more attacks. What would you like to do?
I would like to go for his... so he's down on one knee.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go for his head.
Okay.
Gonna go for his head. So I'm just gonna do. Should I use? Yeah, why not? Let's go with a. He's 1 size larger than me.
Yes, he is.
Okay. I think. Yeah, we'll go for precision attack for his neck this time.
Okay, sure.
Well,
so roll to attack.
Ooh. 15, and that's on a low roll.
15, that doesn't hit, unfortunately.
Okay, but the precision attack is rolling with my d8 to add to the roll, which becomes a 17.
That just hits. So damage.
That's just ridiculous. So 7.
7, okay. So you bring your axe round into his meaty neck, and while the blade lands true, his muscles are almost impossibly thick as he just and his thick, heavy breath just wafts over you, and you almost breathe it in for a moment, and it is sickening and revolting. One more attack, is that right, or are you done?
No, that's 3 attacks. I've got 1 more attack.
Okay.
I am going to use precision attack again on the other side of his neck.
Okay, roll for attack, rather.
So that is 17.
That just hits. Roll for damage.
That becomes a 23 total because I'm using my precision attack.
Mm-hmm.
And damage is a oh no, I've not been doing that right. So that is an 11 to damage, but I forgot to add 5 to the last 3 damages.
Okay.
So it's 5 to each of the last ones, so basically 15.
In that case, how would you like to dispatch of poor old Furkoff?
It's like that scene where Aragorn has got the Urukai stabbed through. He pulls the sword out and just cleaves straight through, and the head just topples backwards and the body just slumps forward.
There is a sickening... And Zini, you especially, with your dog-like ears, hear this from a distance as the large orc just collapses to the ground. And you see the others now starting to look a little less sure about this plan, considering they were already fairly so-so about it, and the most keen among them has fallen to the ground dead. Is there anything else you would like to do on your turn, Billy?
I would like to move up to the last one, so I am within striking range.
Okay. Tara, it is your turn. What would you like to do?
So I'm going to go and join Dalafar. Hopping over that. What is that? Like a bowl of soup or something? And I'm going to look at that's the stallion, right?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
I'm going to look at him and say, are you sure you want to use weapons, or do you want to even the playing field like last time?
Ooh, make a persuasion check.
I don't actually want to.
So sneaky.
15.
So as you rush across and join Dalafar, sliding across the table that is in the leftover from the market earlier, and land before this tall individual with the mohawk, he looks at you and just...
I was always better with my legs anyway.
And he just throws his daggers down to the ground and prepares himself.
Wow, so stupid. Oh man, this is like an actual moral dilemma. Do you attack someone with a sword who's just put their weapons down? I'll look over at Dalafar with a sort of like perplexed expression, and then I'll just holster my sword. I feel like I'll keep it on my back. I don't know. I'm going to put it in over the back like that, and then punch him in the face.
Okay, make an attack roll. At advantage because he's flanked.
And also because I have a bit with advantage because he hasn't been it.
So double advantage.
Double advantage. Oh no. Okay, it's advantage, so it's fine. Oh no.
Oh no.
The first one was an actual 1. 11.
11 doesn't hit, I'm afraid.
That's embarrassing. That's it.
That's it? Okay. So as you sheath your sword and the two of you face off against one another, just as you did in the ring all those months ago, he looks at you and, bringing his foot up in the air, almost as a perfect split, he brings his foot down and misses. And he's going to try and attack you again. Misses again. And again, as he just sort of almost like Ministry of Silly walks, he's just bringing his leg up and up and up, and you just walk back and back and back as he just,
why won't you let me hit you?
That's all he can do. Zini, it's your go as you sit there tasting the air.
Okay, I dropped my dog form because it's not terribly useful and it's not got that many hit points. So I turn back into myself as a bonus action, and then Is Boris holding anything metal?
He is holding a wooden crossbow, but you can see that around his waist, much like the others, there are silvered blades in a perfect ring around.
Excellent. So, I take out the piece of iron that I had before and then just hold it close to my face as sparks glow, and the end of it just seems to ignite, but with a blue flame. And I cast heat metal on those daggers.
Okay.
There is no saving throw. He just takes fire damage. And I would like to cast it at 3rd level, please.
Ooh, okay.
So he
damage
takes
does he take?
3d8 damage.
Okay.
That's a 1, because of course it is. That's a 2, because of course it is. And that's a 2. So 5 fire damage. I hate dice.
As you blow onto this shard of metal, you just see him on the other end of the street just... Oh, fucking hell! And he just sort of like skitters a bit in the snow and sort of pushes with one arm this row of daggers down, sort of off his person as he's just hopping around. Is there anything else that you'd like to do on your turn?
I would like to wave at him and then back up.
Okay. It is now Boris's go, and seeing you back up a little bit, he just goes, "You fucking," and he is going to try and shoot you. And okay, that dice is going over there because I've rolled a 3 twice. Yeah, completely misses you as a crossbow bolt just flies and you dodge to one side. It just, and you see him just as a bonus action start to reload his crossbow. As for Fats, you watch, Oriana, as Fats looks up at you, and suddenly his face begins to shake, and his face goes red, and his veins begin to pop, and you swear you almost see his biceps begin to grow a little bit as he just looks at you, his eyes going bloodshot and almost yellowed as he just... And he's going to attack you at advantage, so that's sorry, that's a 23 to hit.
Oh yeah, that hits.
Don't sound so patronizing. He's trying his best.
Well done, Dungeon Master.
So that's 14 points of slashing damage, and he's going to try and attack you again. This time, less good. 12.
Yeah, that doesn't hit.
So he starts swinging, and as you look at him in a kind of, it's kind of adorable, this tiny little frothing mouth gnome. The first blow catches you by surprise as it clangs into the side of your armor, and you feel the wind leave you. The second one, he just swings wildly, and it cracks down into the pavement beneath you. This guy could be a problem. Scarlet, it is.
I'm going to use my reaction to cast Hellish Rebuke.
Okay, sure thing, go for it.
I point my finger at him, and he is momentarily surrounded by hellish flames.
Okay.
Very exciting. He's got to make a dex saving throw.
Okay. Man alive, 8.
Excellent. So he's going to take 3d10 fire damage.
Okay.
So that's 5 plus 4 plus 8.
Okay. Let me just do the maths on that. Okay, you just watch as a perfect circle in the snow just melts away as flame shoots up from underneath the pavement itself, and you just see his locked brown hair catch a flame as he just as he just and shoves his head down into the snow as he just and he looks very, very shaken. Scarlet, it is your go.
This is going to be anticlimactic, but I would like to cast Fire Shield on myself.
Okay. And is that everything that you will do?
I mean, probably. I mean, I can't do much else other than move, so I'll move
I guess up there.
So you just bring your hands and your wand over yourself, and shimmering all around you, Zini, you see this from a distance. You just see flames pour over her form as it just moves with her as she moves towards the center of the street,
And it's like a sidestep.
Yeah.
Like an awkward sidestep.
casting an equally awkward glow all around as she just shuffles over. Is that everything you want to do on your turn?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. It is Darkstar's turn. So Darkstar is going to run back a little bit. And pulling out 3 of the daggers from his waist, he just throws them all in your direction, Dalafar. So that will be 1 natural 1 and 23 and a 24.
Oh, just surpasses my AC. Okay.
So that will be, so 14 points of piercing damage. As one of the blades just thunk off the side of your armor, but the other 2 manage to find purchase. And you look over and you see Darkstar. He cannot help himself. Give a little, yes, okay. Top of the round, Oriana, it's your go. As Fats buries his head in the snow, what would you like to do?
I will make an attack, but I'll use my Great Weapon Master to take a -5 penalty to the attack roll.
Okay.
So at advantage, because of Out of Enmity, that is, oh man, 19.
19. That hits. Roll for damage.
Okie dokie. So that is 21.
20. Oh, man. Okay.
And then I will use... screw it. I'll cast Blinding Smite as my bonus action alongside my next attack.
Okay.
So that is... maths, 24.
Yeah, that hits. Roll for damage.
So that is 16 of normal slashing damage, and then 23 of radiant damage.
How would you like to dispatch of little old Fats?
I'll just, can I cut right down the middle of him?
Yeah, that's okay.
He's so small and my blade is so big, so...
There's just a sickening as the bladed part of Oriana's mace just cleaves straight through this tiny little gnome, and you just see both sides just into the snow. Is there anything else that you would like to do on your turn, Oriana?
When I do that, I want to get some of his blood on my face and then turn towards the nearest one of them and just, like, lick the blood.
Boris just looks at you, still reloading his crossbow, and he's just, oh, fuck. So, Dalafar, it's your turn.
After being hit with some of the knives...
Very, very loud suddenly, sorry. Not that it's not great, but...
Is that better?
Yeah, it's like this is
Okay.
the voice of God.
Sorry. Right, so after being hit, I just sort of like staring daggers at Darkstar and just unpluck the daggers and then get to him, walk up to him. I think that 25.
Provoke an opportunity attack from the stallion, if you want to risk that.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, it's probably not much of a risk, let's be honest. No, natural 2.
And I walk straight up to him, and just say, "I warned you," and I am going to attack him. This is just twice, so it's not too bad.
Okay.
And I think on this one, what I'm going to do. So behind him there, you see there's some snow and what looks to be the top of a building.
Yes.
Is that indicating that there is a wall directly behind him?
Yes, so he has backed away, and as you approach him, he looks behind and realizes that he has basically trapped himself as he just stands looking at the wall behind him and just, oh, okay. And you see him bring his hands up in a defensive stance.
I am going to attack, but I'm going to attack with one of my maneuvers called the pushing attack.
Okay.
A pushing attack, when you hit with weapon attack, you can expend one superiority die to add to the total of the damage roll. And if the target is larger or smaller, it must make a strength saving throw, DC 17. Okay. On failure, you push the target up to 15 feet away from you. I am going to push him in. I'm going to basically manhandle him and push him into that wall at full strength. So I'm going to attack first.
Okay.
And obviously roll the superiority die, which is 13 plus 9, which would be 22.
That hits.
And damage is 10.
10. Well,
and
that's so easy, thank you. And 17. No, he fails. So he is pushed back into the side of the building with a rather dense and he brings up his hands in a sort of still vaguely defensive position, but you can see he is faltering slightly.
I think because I've used my 25 feet of movement, so I can't move any closer to him. So I am not going to do anything. I'll just stare him down.
Okay.
Because I can't attack him. He's in excess of 5 feet from my reach.
Okay. Do you want to do so intimidatingly? You can.
Yeah,
like.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
As in hold up the axe with the blood of his friend who's now headless.
Okay, make an intimidation check for me then, please.
Why am I looking at my sheet? It doesn't even... It's a 3.
3. You bring it up and he just... and readies himself again. Terra, it is your go, as the stallion keeps missing you with his very well placed strikes, but you are just that bit quicker. What would you like to do?
I'm going to shake my head and say, this is boring, and then take out my sword.
You see him immediately go, hang on, I thought you said...
And then I'm going to use Thunderous Smite, and hit him, hopefully.
Okay, roll to attack.
20?
Yep, that hits. Roll for damage.
So, normal damage is 11.
Okay.
Thunderous Smite damage, and don't let me forget to do my sneak attack. Thunderous Smite damage is 2d6.
Mm-hmm.
Which is... Ooh, that was hot. 4.
Okay.
And then my sneak attack is...
Bryn, sorry, just to check, how do you get sneak attack on this one?
Oh, you're right. I think I was assuming I got it because I had advantage last time.
Yeah, but he's not flanked anymore, so I don't think you do. Sorry to pick you up on that.
No, you're absolutely correct. So it's just that.
Okay, cool. Is there anything else you'd like to do?
No.
Okay, so you bring your sword out, and as he starts to back away a little bit, you just bring it round, and it cleaves round the front of his chest, and the very well-made black uniform rips open as there is a and he just flies back a little bit as snow flies out all around you. And unless there's anything else you'd like to do, it is his turn. Okay, so he's going to try and attack you. That's 24 to hit. So that would be 9 points of bludgeoning damage, and a 17 to hit?
Yeah.
Yeah, and a 16 to hit.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to be nice.
Okay. So that's an additional 14 points of bludgeoning damage on top of that, as all 3 of his attacks just land, as you just feel his feet once, twice, and then he brings up his knee into your chest and he goes,
I don't need a sword to beat you.
Zini, it is your go.
Okay, the knives, did Boris manage to get them off his person, or are they still on there?
They are still on him and they are sliding down, and you realize as they've slid down his waist, he suddenly realizes this is a bad thing because it is now very much around his pelvic region as he looks between that and the very, very scary blood-stained Oriana in front of him.
Excellent. As a bonus action, I'd like to do the damage again.
Okay.
Come on, D8s. That's another 2.
Okay.
That's a 5, so 7. And then the last one is a 7, so 14 points of fire damage this time.
Okay. You watch him as he's staring at you, Oriana, and just trying to reload his crossbow. He's like, no. As steam just emanates up from his pelvic region, he just and he shimmies a little bit more as it continues to go down. Is there anything else that you'd like to do on your turn?
I would now like to move a little bit closer so that I am within 60 feet of the gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
And then, because that was a bonus action and I'm concentrating on the spell, I can cast another spell as my action.
Okay, go for it.
So Now, just a quick detail check thing. Oriana is not technically within 5 feet of Boris, is she?
She's not, no.
Excellent. I would like to cast Ice Knife at 2nd level then, please.
Okay, go for it.
So I need to make a ranged spell attack. That is a 12 plus... it's a 19.
19, that hits. Roll for damage.
Excellent. So if I'm casting at 2nd level, then it's 2d10. No, it increases by 1d6, so it's a d10. Oh yeah, it's d10 for the piercing damage. That's an 8, so 8 piercing damage. And then the shard explodes. Each creature within 5 feet of it must succeed in the dexterity. Oh, so that doesn't apply because he's the one who's pierced. So, well, it's a bit weird. The target and each... Yeah, so he does take the 2d6. 3d6 cold damage, apologies.
Okay.
That's a 6.
6, okay.
That's a 1. And then the last one is a 2. So 7, 8, 9 cold damage on top of the 8 piercing.
So seeing him steaming from the upper legs up, you just bring your hand to the fore and throw an ice knife towards him, and it lands exploding on his shoulder. And he just goes, "God, it was so hot, but no, it's so cold." And he just brings up his crossbow and very shakily just points it in your direction. And just
as he says that, can I go, "And soon you'll be just dead."
And he just goes, "Ooh, okay," and he shoots towards you. That will be a 21 to hit.
That will hit, yeah.
Okay, so that will be 4 points of piercing damage as one of the arrows just flies very heavily into your wooden and moss-covered armor. And you notice that the armor seems to brunt some of the impact a little bit. And as you look at it, some of the vines start to just twist their way around the arrow as well. That's all he's going to do. Scarlet, it is your turn.
Ooh. Out of our remaining enemies, who's looking the least affected?
Darkstar, probably. He's pretty much only been shoved back into a wall. The others are taking a fair amount of damage.
Okay. He's a bit far for me to get to, so let's go for a good old magic missile.
Okay.
At 4th level.
It would have been poetic if you aimed it at Darkstar. What's the distance? What's the range on magic missile?
It's 120, so I think I'm within it.
Yeah.
Yeah. If not, I could move, and I'll probably be within it in like 2 steps. So... Okay... 23.
23. Okay. At Darkstar.
Yeah, all at Darkstar.
Okay.
We go all in on Darkstar.
So as Darkstar prepares himself in front of you, Dalafar, there is a from the sky above, and both of you just look up, and Darkstar just, his hands fall to his side and go, oh no, as there is just a, and he just, and just goes back against the wall, spasming in sort of pain as he just looks at all of you and, oh God, you have to make life so difficult. Is there anything else that you'd like to do, Scarlet?
I'll take a single 5 feet forward.
Zini, you just see as in the periphery of your sight, very on fire Scarlet just shuffles forward a little bit and then stops. It's Darkstar's turn. What does Darkstar want to do? I think Darkstar's just gonna run. Darkstar just looks around. He sees Boris on fire and on ice. He looks over towards the stallion who Terra is currently rounding on, and Darkstar just looks around and promise not to chase me.
You come at me again, I'll take your life.
Got it. Bye, lads! And with that, he just runs off down the street, his daggers clattering on the ground around him as he just running off down the street, leaving the battlefield. Right, top of the round, Oriana. Boris, you see, is looking round and, hey, what the hell are you doing? What would you like to do, Oriana?
I'll attack Boris.
Okay.
So I'll go a little bit closer to him. Oh, we're right next to each other. That's real cute. Okay. This isn't with advantage, so... Oh, never mind. It's a 24.
Okay. Roll for the damage.
That will be a... That's just a 9.
Just a 9, okay.
And then I'll make a second attack, and I will cast Divine Smite at 3rd level.
Okay. Roll.
Alongside it. This is the one that will miss. Oh no, that's totally going to miss. That's an 11.
That misses, I'm afraid.
Dang nabbit. That's all I can do.
As your first blow smashes into him, he's shivering to such a degree that he's actually almost becoming a little bit more proficient at dodging, and so your second one just goes ever so slightly off as he just... Dalafar, your turn. What would you like to do?
Who's looking worse out of the last two?
Boris. Decidedly Boris.
Boris. I will go for the stallion, actually. I'll walk up to, I think I've got 25 feet of movement. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. I've used 4 squares. Diagonal movements are still 1.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so I'll use 4 squares. That'll be 20 feet. And I would just like to attack Boris.
Okay.
Boris, sorry, the stallion.
Yep, no, that's okay. So roll to attack at advantage because he is flanked as he looks between you and Terra especially seems to really be scaring him at this stage.
First one is a 13.
That misses, I'm afraid.
And the second one was a 12, so that's a 2. So, second attack. Better. 22.
22, that hits. Roll for damage.
9 points of damage.
Okay. Okay. And another attack, or are you...
No, I only get 2 attacks.
Okay.
The first one missed.
Cool, so you bring down your blade once and he steps out of the way very expertly, but then too late you bring round your axe and it just like slams into him and he just and Terra, your go. Okay. So roll to advantage.
Am I not? 13.
13 doesn't hit, I'm afraid.
Right.
Did you roll at advantage, Catherine?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so as Dalafart swings round and the two of you lock eyes and look at the stallion, you bring your sword round, but he notices the look between you and just spins out of the way, and he's going to try and attack you. Natural 1. 16?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, 16.
Okay, so that's 2 hits against you, and that will be 8 points of bludgeoning damage as his feet just slam into you. That's all he's going to do. Zini, your go.
I would like to do the heat metal damage again, please.
Okay.
7.
Okay.
2, so 9, and then the last one is a 1, so 10.
Another awful comes up that you all hear around the street, and he just goes, "Oh, it's a bad pain," as he just crouches over in front of you, Oriana, looking very, very pathetic. Is there anything else you want to do, Zini?
Well, I've still got my action. Did Darkstar dash?
Yes, he legged it, and...
So he is how far away now?
Well, he has a movement of 40, so he's 80 feet away from where he was. So he's running at a pace.
It's a shame, because my longbow's range is between 150 and 600 feet. Oh no. I think I'm going to have to shoot 2 arrows at him as my action.
Okay, go for it.
Just check what my attack bonus is with my longbow. Oh, nice. That is a 26.
Yep, that hits.
And a 23.
Those both hit. Roll for damage.
It's 7 points on the first arrow and 5 points on the second.
He's going to use his reaction to deflect one of those.
Oh.
So that will be... He reduces one of them by 12. So what were the 2 separate rolls, sorry?
It was 7 and 5, so he will cut one of them completely.
Cool. So it'll probably be the first one. So he takes 5 points of damage as he just catches one of the arrows, and you see a look of surprise on even his face as he just and then there is a ow from the distance as he just topples over. Is there anything else that you want to do on your turn?
I'd just like to run the 30 feet in his direction as if I'm pursuing.
Okay, sure thing. So as you rush forward, Boris just looks at you, Oriana, and drops his bow on the ground and just, I'm sorry, I will never bother any of you ever again if you just let me go, okay? And he's going to step away from you, hoping that you're not going to attack him.
I'll just try to, I won't use a weapon. I'll just punch him, but not too hard.
Okay, so roll to attack.
Jesus Christ. It's an 11.
11 does not hit, unfortunately. But as he backs away and you swing your fist out, he just, oh, good call, and just starts to run off in this direction and away from the street. That's all he's going to do. Scarlet, it is your turn.
Oh, I mean, I guess we've only got the stallion left, haven't we?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, more magic missile, why not? But I'll only do it at 3rd level this time.
Okay.
So that's only 5 darts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 16.
16, okay. So let me just do the maths on that. Okay, so Dalifar and Terra, as you circle the stallion and he looks between the two of you, his mohawk shifting in the breeze as he does so, you once again hear the familiar sound of as there is this, and the stallion just dances in place for a little moment, just shrugging off these small motes of energy, just that's all you're doing on your turn?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very chill. I'm having a great time.
And yeah, Darkstar's just gonna keep legging it off in the other direction. So that's all he's gonna do. And he's gonna try and hide. Okay. He ducks behind a corner, rushing into an alleyway. And Zini, as you look, certainly with your passive, you lose track of him as he rushes round the corner. Remind me of your passive, I think.
Yeah, I was just being like, that must be a good stealth check.
Yeah.
My passive is 22.
He beats it then. In that
Wow.
case. He rolled 19 and he has quite a good plus. So top of the round, Oriana, it is your go as Boris runs off round the corner. Leaving only the stallion, Dalifar, and Terra surrounding him.
I'll just hold my action for now.
Okay.
Unless until if he attacks either Terra or Dal.
Okay, so are you rushing forward to join them then?
Yes, I will move to just here.
Okay, you'll need to move one square closer to be able to attack him.
Oh yeah, there we go.
So lovely. So Dalifar, as you and Terra surround the stallion, you're joined by Oriana as she rushes forward, and both you and Terra look in her direction before doing a bit of a double take as you see a large splash of blood across her, and what you swear look to be licked lips in front. But Dalifar, what would you like to do?
I'm just going to attack the stallion again.
Okay, roll to attack.
And that is going to be a natural 1.
Okay, that misses, so roll again.
26.
That hits, roll for damage.
Far better. That is 11 points of damage.
11 points of damage as your first blow goes wide, and the second one flies in and connects quite squarely with his hip, and you hear a distinct as he just and Terra, Dalifar looks across to you, and it is your turn. What are you doing?
Trying to hit him again.
Okay, roll to attack at advantage.
I did roll at advantage. It's fine.
Too late.
Yeah, it's fine. I've done my 2 attacks, it's fine. I mean, he's not going to win this fight.
25.
That hits, roll for damage.
8, 9, 12, 13.
How would you like to dispatch of the stallion?
I would like to say I've let too many people go recently, and then I'd like to take the sword and kind of bring it. So he's got the tattoo behind his neck, right?
He does, yes.
I'd like to stand next to him, bring the sword up behind him and through the tattoo.
So bisecting the horseshoe tattoo in half, you just bring your sword down, and there is a as his eyes just go cold, and he falls to the ground and creates a slowly growing red pool in the white snow beneath your feet as the street goes quiet. The night air. Oh.
I was just gonna say, so that dog then?
I mean, Dalifar just looks at Terry and just goes, Yeah. I wipe my axe on the stallion's armor just to get the blood off. And, I said, right, Zini, which way?
I shall become a dog again and take us the rest of the way.
Okay.
Can I just check if the stallion has anything on him that might... I mean, you don't think he works for the Skinners anymore, but I just want to check.
Yep, make an investigation check for me.
Can I also just check whether any of them have any money on them?
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
I was going to check the orc that I downed first.
Okay.
Frig, natural 1.
I
don't even see the bodies. Yeah.
You're like,
I'm just like, where are they? They've just gone.
You're very focused on the dog now. It's a very important thing now.
I've got blood in my eyes.
Yeah, your eyes have crusted shut from the dried blood.
Yeah,
you've got blood blindness.
Yeah.
What did you roll? Sorry, Catherine?
23.
23. So, rooting around through the stallion's pockets, you find that as you look at the bracer of daggers around his waist, they're good daggers. They're very well made, in fact. And as you look at them, you see that on each of them is carved the symbol of a snake. They are silvered and almost perfectly sharp. They are very, very nice and might either as weapons or on the market, they will probably fetch a fair price.
Well, I've got a thing of knives, haven't I?
Yes, you do.
So
Are the other ones silvered as well? Because we might need silvered daggers.
Yeah, I think my normal ones are. So.
Yeah, they're all silvered. So I'll say in total, rooting around all of the bodies, you can probably grab around 5 for each of you. So 25 in total. You also find on the stallion's person a contract. Just as Darkstar mentioned before, it seems to be a call for your heads. And there are very roughly approximated sketches of each of you on there. But it says 3,000 dead and 4,500 alive. And that's all you find on him.
Does the sketch look like? I mean, it's a rough. Did you say it was a rough sketch?
It is quite rough. There is definitely a likeness there, and seeing all 5 of you together and all 5 of these together, one would definitely be able to draw comparisons, but picking you out in a street, probably less likely, to be honest.
I just mutter, looks nothing like me. Right. Shall we put those in the bag of holding and get going?
I'll keep my 5 on my harness.
Okay. Yeah.
Could I try and pick up the scent again, please?
You can, absolutely. I'll say make a survival check at advantage because you already had it beforehand.
17.
17. So, sniffing around and very distracted by the very new sensation of smelling blood all around you. A smell that is not entirely unpleasant, you find, in a slightly disturbing way. But you look up to the sky and just... And after around 5 minutes of walking around and burying your snout in the various pockets of snow that exist around here, and off in the distance you see someone walking home from the pub, and they stop at the end of the street, seeing the chaos on the cobblestones, and just immediately turn and walk in the other direction, disappearing down a corner. But Zini, you pick up the scent and you continue on, running down the street, the others all following you. And you all continue, following Zini in her dog form. And this continues for around an hour. It is a long, long, long journey. Is there anything that anyone's wanting to do as you walk and keeping up with Zini?
No.
Okay. So you move to the edge of the river district, And here, Zini, you find yourself overwhelmed with smells again before shaking your head and continuing on into the Black Lake district. On you go, on through the tall towers of the district and the spires all around, clocks chiming as the hour strikes, and you continue on until you start to smell.
If the hour strikes, I lose my form because I can only be in it for an hour.
Well, you didn't. You didn't do it within. You didn't start at 8 and it's now 9. It's sort of halfway through.
I thought you said it took about an hour for us to get to the docks. So.
Yeah, so you haven't reached the docks yet, but as you continue through the Black Lake, and you start to see sights that, for you especially, Scarlet, are very familiar. Beautiful sculpted gardens and iron trellised fences, and you see large mansions stood all around, seemingly competing with one another for more and more ostentatious decoration, and taller towers, and flags that seem to outdo one another atop their roofs. But as you continue on, and the smell of salt becomes more and more intense, Zini, you find yourselves coming to the edge of the docks. And as you do so, Zini, you start to grow taller. And the fur seems to shrink down back under the scales again as you stand up. The smell, just as you begin to extend your body up, is strong all along here. And as you stand, you see the Sea of Swords out in front of you, and numerous boats bobbing along, each of them harnessed against the various piers and jetties that jut out into the water. And you see that there are people wandering up and down the pier, either in pairs or alone. Some of them are workers, some of them just out for an evening stroll. But you are all on the docks. What would you like to do?
I would like to just, as we're walking, just keep an eye out for spools of rope just on the docks somewhere that I could just take or ask someone to take.
So looking around, there are a number of lengths of rope, and you can see that many of these are connected with nearby barges and fishing boats and larger shipping vessels. But looking around, you are able to approach a few sailors who sort of give you, I'd say, probably around 25 foot worth of rope from one of the larger vessels. But that's probably the most that they can spare.
Okay.
Can I surreptitiously dispose of the contracts that I found?
Yeah, of course. How would you like to do that?
I'll just look it up and check it again.
Okay. Make a sleight of hand check for me to see
I'm
how.
not finding it from this group. Just,
No.
17.
You rip it up, and when no one's looking, just throw it, parts of it in the sea and other parts of it in a nearby, what looks to be some kind of trash dispenser.
Well, any ideas of where to find the dog?
Well, I can't transform again. I only get that twice a day. It's around here somewhere. I don't know whether, Scarlet, you might be willing to try your spell here?
I can certainly try. So I would like to cast Locate Creature.
Mm-hmm.
And as I haven't seen it, I'm going to basically search for the nearest Black Labrador.
Okay.
Within 1,000 feet.
With a red collar.
I don't know if I could. It just says creature of a specific kind, and the
Okay.
collar isn't inherent to the dog, so I don't know if I could.
Yeah.
Like, if I assume if it had like 3 legs, I could think, where's the nearest 3-legged Black Labrador?
That's why I asked for specifics, but there weren't any, so...
Yeah.
No,
Sure.
but yes, just the nearest Black Labrador.
Okay. So you cast the spell, And Dalifar, you stand on the docks looking out into the waters as Scarlet stands there casting. And you allow the soft, salty air to wash over you. And you're reminded once more of home. As you look out over the moon's reflection over the sloshing waves as boats move up and down, creaking across the dock. And Scarlet, as you cast your spell, you sense something north. Further on, down the pier, it looks as though a straight line is all that is needed, but there's definitely something further up the pier.
Up this pier, apparently. I will follow my spell.
Okay. So, you all walk, following Scarlet as she walks ahead of you. And every so often you have to brake as sailors move past with barrels and crates, no doubt setting off either early in the morning or arriving in late that night. But as you continue on, the sound of bells and buoys out in the water, you do hear another sound. And you see a dog rush out from behind a couple of barrels and jump into the air and catch a stick in midair before landing and running back behind the barrels.
Follow around where the barrels are.
You see, sat on a rather large pile of rope, a fairly thin-looking half-elf with pointed ears and a freckled face and wild red hair, and he brings the stick back and, who's a good boy? Who's a good boy, Terry? Here we go. And once again, the dog rushes off with it and brings it back, and the sailor just continues scratching the dog and stroking him, and then looks up towards you. All right, folks, can I help you?
Hi, is that your dog?
Yeah, who's asking?
Oh, well, we just sort of happened to be looking for him. Apparently he had found someone to stay with a man called Fifle Green, and we decided to help him by looking for him.
Is he wearing red collar?
He is, yes. Well, you've been making friends again, Terry, have you? Hi, sorry, my name's Brendan. I'm with this ship here, and he turns around and points at what looks to be a large trading vessel that is just bobbing up and down on the waters. Yeah, we only got in beginning of the 10-day, and I haven't seen this guy in a long old time, so we're making up for lost time, ain't we, boy? And the dog just...
So you've had him for how long?
had him for a couple of years. When I first came to Neverwinter, but then when I got a job on this boat, we're up and down the coast pretty regularly. We go to 10 towns in Icewind Dale, just past the spine of the world, and we make that journey every couple of months, stay there for a while, and I've just had to leave him behind, and I thought that he was gonna... He waited for me, and so every time I come back, I get to see my boy again.
Well, I think this works out really well then, because while you're away, you can leave him with his temporary new friend, and I'm sure you two can help look after him. So while you're away, you know he's being looked after.
He looks at you and takes in your weapons, and you've been hired for this, or?
Just out of our goodwill.
We like dogs.
I mean, who doesn't? Yes. A shame, were it not for the fact that Icewind Dale is, well, it's no place for a dog, is it?
No. Okay. Well,
You headed back? Tell the old guy now?
I think you should be the one to do that. And I think the two of you have a mutual love for, whom we thought was Felix.
Felix?
What's his name?
It's Terry.
Terry.
I like Felix too.
Well, I'm sure between you can find your name that suits the both of you. But I think this gentleman, and I'll tell him where to find Firefall Green, will possibly be the best person to place with Terry with while you're away, so that you know he's looked after. I know he was very worried for him.
You go out of your way for strangers this often?
We like dogs.
Say no more, right?
More often than I think we care to count, but yes.
Oh, thank you very much. It's late, but I'll go around the old guy's house in the morning and let him know the mix-up. Thank you. Can I, we're traders. We bring stuff back from Icewind Dale occasionally. Is there anything that, I mean, you travel quite a bit, right? Anything you're in the market for? I can probably nip up on ship, maybe grab you something.
Well, how about this? Is the job paying you well to take care of Terry?
I mean, whenever I'm back, I spoil him. And then when I'm away, I figured he was just fending for himself. But, cheeky little bugger, he's been taking advantage of old codgers. But yeah, no, it's fine when I get to come back.
I just turn to the others. I don't think there's anything that I'm looking for especially. And I'm happy just to make sure that Terry has a good home.
Good morning, Terry.
Turn back to Brandon and say, no, just continue taking care of him. I'm sure he really appreciates that.
Yeah. Well, thanks. I hope this didn't put you too out of your way.
Is Oriana still covered in blood? And I've got an arrow like a crossbow bolt in.
I sort of gently nudge Scarlet and then just sort of indicate to Ori's face. Let's go.
I did not hear any of that. Everything cut out for me.
I sort of nudged you a little bit and just sort of indicated with my in direction of Ori's face because she still has blood covering him while we're talking to Brandon.
Oh yeah, prestidigitated up. So she looks beautiful and non-bloody. She also looks beautiful when she's bloody, but.
Brandon just looks at this a little confused and, man, you really do go out of your way. Have a good night then. Hey, if you ever need passage to Icewind Dale, we're back and forth more than I'd care to think. We're probably setting sail in around the 10-day, so
That
I don't know.
sounds very cold.
Yeah, no, it's fucking freezing.
No, thank you.
All right, fair enough.
What's the name of your ship?
It's just the call.
Sorry, Call.
The call, yeah.
Okay. Who knows? Our paths might cross again.
Maybe. After all, we're all lovers of dogs, right?
I just sort of smile and look at Zini. Apparently we are.
Who isn't?
Who is? Right, well, come on, boy. You need some rest. Caused enough trouble for tonight. Have a good one, folks.
Good night, Brandon.
And with that, he steps up onto the pier and starts to move up the gangplank onto the vessel behind him. Terry or Felix moving up behind him with a before disappearing out of view.
Okay, I think that's enough excitement for today.
Maybe we should take a different route back.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Okay.
We head back?
Yeah, we head
Yeah.
back.
Okay, so you continue back through Black Lake District until eventually coming to the altogether smaller River District. Moving through the streets as they transition from tall spires to rather more humble homes and businesses. And soon you come to the now familiar sight of your Nithbeasts and Rudigan outside the tavern, and they all look to you, the Nithbeasts looking fairly content and tired as they just cock their heads and Rudigan moves over to the edge of the stables and just plonks his head over the side of the railings to just greet you all as you pass on your way to the front door.
I just gave him a scritch.
He just...
I'll meet you guys inside. And I step into the stable to brush them down, because normally you brush your horse down if you've been traveling for a while, but I don't think you've done that for a while, so yeah. So I go and brush the Nithbeast down and also Rudigan.
Do I realise what Dalafar's doing?
You probably would. You'd recognise that on horses.
Dalafar, have you ever treated scales before?
No.
Have you ever treated rhino skin before?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna supervise this because you're just gonna do it wrong.
Dalafar laughs a little bit and say, sure.
I have scales. Rudigan he's my friend.
Dalafar doesn't say anything.
How am I being patronised in this situation? How did you turn this round on me?
As this conversation continues behind you, the three of you, are you sticking around or are you heading into the tavern?
No, I will head in.
I will also head in.
And Tara?
Sorry, I thought I said I'm visiting.
Oh, okay. So, heading in, the bar is relatively quiet again, and you see Turnip behind the bar just nod at each of you. And as the sound of Dalafar and Zini's argument outside continues, until eventually the door closes and you only hear the sound of the fire pit in the center of the room. You make your way to a table or to your rooms.
I think I'm going to sit down.
And Scarlet and Orion?
Yeah, I guess we ate, didn't we? And
It's quite late, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm gonna
killed
go.
some people and found a dog, so all in a day's work.
So as you move across the space, moving towards your shared room, there is a... apologies, sorry. Is one of you, Scarlet?
Yes, that's me.
Oh, lovely. We, got a letter for you.
Thank you. I wasn't expecting anything, but thank you.
And as Turnip brings an envelope over the bar, you are hit with a familiar perfume that seems to emanate off the envelope itself. And as it exchanges hands, you see the seal on the front in purple wax with two initials on. M.H.
I'm going to go to my room, if you'll excuse me.
I just stop the bar person and say, "Oh, that reminds me, I'm expecting a letter that has a horseshoe on it. Can you let me know if one arrives?"
Sure. All right. No problem. What was your name?
It's Tara, but it won't be addressed to me.
Right. Okay. Well, I'll keep an eye out for it.
I'll head upstairs.
Okay. So, it's 2 rooms of 3 beds, all on the ground level. Who is sharing with who? Diani's left. She doesn't want to answer the question.
She doesn't want to share a bed with anybody.
He was like, nope, I'm out.
I'm
yeah.
gonna go to the first one and then let chance decide.
Okay, sure thing. And Scarlet, seeing as you're heading to a room first, which would you like?
I'll go to the second one, why not? Bit of
Okay.
variety.
Okay. And Oriana, you have your pick of both.
So Tara's gone to room 1,
Yeah,
and Scarlett's gone to room 2.
Like a
Yeah.
really big decision.
I know.
Yeah, it's very dramatic.
I won't read into it.
Can I just sleep in the corridor?
I mean, it's just an empty tavern with lots of tables and then doors round the outside of this circular space. So you can sleep
Okay.
in the bar if you'd
I
like.
I will go to Tara's room. Oh, for God's sake!
Just carry on.
This is stressing me out too much. The decision of which room. I'll go to Tara's room
Okay.
because she has been helping with translating the book, and also I'm slightly concerned that because Scarlett got that letter, she might want to talk about it. So I will
I thought you were about to say to give her some alone time, but it's purely, oh
No.
man.
She might want to talk about the letter.
That
and,
is the most in character decision you've ever made.
So yeah, I'll go to Tara's room.
Okay. So, Scarlet, as you close the door behind you and are met with a beautifully appointed room with lots of throws and furs all over the beds, there's a certain Viking-esque aesthetic to the rooms in here. But you hear Terra go into the next door room, and you hear the door go again and can only assume that Oriana has followed suit. But what would you like to do?
I think I'll sort of put Juliet on one of the beds, put my things down, tap the letter nervously on the side a couple of times, look towards the door, and then just open it.
Okay. You open it up, and the smell of that oh so familiar floral perfume becomes even stronger as you pull out a small piece of parchment perfectly folded. It's embroidered with floral patterns, and you see that it has been sprayed in perfume itself from the very delicate stains on the corners of the page. And on it, written in perfect writing, there reads the following: Dearest Scarlet, you are cordially invited to Harwood House for a nighttime gala on Octar the 14th. Feel free to bring your friends. It's bound to be an evening to remember. I have missed you, darling. M.H.
Out of interest, what's the date now?
It is the evening of the 9th, so tomorrow will be the 10th.
I think that's not exactly what Scarlett expected. I think she will fold it up very precisely and very neatly put it on her bedside table and scratch Juliet between the ears, because I think she is going to have to sleep on it and think about what the best next step is.
So as you sit there, moonlight streaming through the window, and thinking back to your life in Neverwinter, it is almost as though you hear his laugh echo around the room. And that is where we will end this week's session. But we will be back next week. No more breaks for a while. So yeah, we will be back, and we will pick up where we left off, same time, same channel. But again, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for hovering in the chat. Thank you so much for watching on YouTube. Thank you so much for listening. We will be back again. In the meantime, everything's still crazy. Things seem to be getting a bit better, but stay safe, stay wonderful. We're so happy to have you as part of the office, and we will see you very, very soon. In the meantime, we love you. Stay safe. Bye.